Yastyakva rupamadhyam prabhavate jagataha anekadha anugrahaya prakshena klesha Vishama Vishadharaha Aneka Vaktra Subhogi Sarvajnana Prasoti Bhojaga Parikaraha Pritaye Yasya Nityam Devo Hishaha Savovyat Sita Vimalatano Yogado Yogayuktaha Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjalinanatosmi Shankhachakrasidharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Srimate Anantaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha. Bhashyakrit Sutrakrit Chapi Nirmalantam Surupinam Dhyataram Shripater Nityam Patanjalim Namamyaham. Patanjala Mahabhashya Charaka Pratisamskritaihi Manovakaya Doshanam Hatre Ahipataye Namaha. Asteya Pratisthayam Sarva Ratna Upasthanam. So my friends, we are now in the second chapter in the discussion of what are the consequences or the benefits of the practice of the yamas and the niyamas. And in this section we are here in the 37th sutra where Patanjali is talking about the concept of Asteya, one of the yamas, the third one after Ahimsa and Satyam. The concept of Asteyam we have already discussed in the Ashtanga Yoga. Asteyam means that you are taking something that does not belong to you. You are stealing something that does not belong to you. It's a very difficult word to translate because it's not just stealing, it's actually taking away something that does not belong to you. Ācārya, Krishnamacharya says, Asteyam Chaturvidham. There are 4 kinds of theft that we can do. Dravyam, Dharma, Karma, Jnanancha. It's saying there are 4 categories of theft we can do. The first is what is called Dravya. Dravya means matter or materials. For example, if you dhanam, dhanyam, etc., you are stealing wealth from somebody, like money from somebody, or you are stealing food or things which belong to others, like maybe rice or wheat or mangoes from the neighbor's tree or tomatoes from your neighbor's garden or something like that. When you are taking that which does not belong to you, of any kind of matter, that is called Asteya. It means you are taking some material that is not belonging to you. And this is very, very, very significant because I told you already last time, even when we receive a gift from somebody, we have to be very careful. Because when we receive a gift from somebody, we are receiving half of their karma. So their bad karma will be taken even if we receive a gift. But if we steal from somebody, we are not only taking half of their karma, we are taking whole of their karma plus the karma of theft itself. So that's why the concept of Asteya is very significant, because we are not only stealing an object, but we are also incurring the bad karma that belongs to the other person, and we will be trapped by that. So Dravyasteya is one of the more common theft that we have, where we are stealing things from other people, whether it is the concept of food or money or objects or even people. Sometimes we are taking people away, like there are so many stories around the world actually where children are stolen from the hospitals, or they are kidnapped, or they are taken away from the parents, or things like that. And sometimes this kind of theft is institutionalized, like in certain countries they have the concept of the stolen generation, where the children of the native people were taken away from their parents to be taken into camps where they would try to be civilized or educated. But no matter what, this is a kind of theft. This is a kind of theft, and this is bordering between Dravyasteya and also the steya of karma or dharma, which we will come to in a moment. So this is the most common theft that we can have, Dravyasteya. Very, very easy, because we can just take something, put it in the pocket and just keep going. And many people justify this stories where they are saying, well, we will actually do something that is in the name of religion, or in the name of something, like some people say, we will steal from rich people and give it to poor people, or we will steal from rich people and try to build a temple. There are stories like that. Now, we must not follow such examples, because according to the Patanjali's law of yoga philosophy, all kind of steyam should be avoided. So this is the first kind of steyam, that is called as Dravyasteya. Then comes the steya of dharma. We take away the dharma of somebody. We steal the dharma of somebody. This also happens in very subtle ways. This happens in very subtle ways. I give a very simple example. My father always used to say that one of the Asteya is a very common practice in many countries, especially in our country, India, coming late. Now, if you come late, you are stealing the time away from the other person, which means that you are taking away their dharma to do something at a later time. For example, I have a class from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Now, at 10 o'clock, I will have another student. Now, once the 9 o'clock student comes half an hour late, and then is expecting that I will give them 1 hour class. Now, that will mean that I have to take away time from the next student who is already on time at 10 o'clock, which means because that person may have another appointment somewhere else, maybe he has to go to a dentist, or maybe he has to go to a temple, or maybe he has to pick up his child from the school. We don't know what appointment that person will have. So in some way, we are taking their time so that they are not able to fulfill their dharma. So that is why my father always used to say that if you come late, you are stealing somebody's time. That's why my father was always preferring to be half an hour early than 1 minute late. My grandfather was even more strict. If student came late by even 1 minute, he would say, sorry, no class, bye. You are not serious enough. And people would say, traffic jams are, and this is in the 1980s where we had not much traffic compared to now. You would say, that is your problem, not my problem. Go, you are not serious enough. You should have calculated accordingly. That was the strictness, not because of ego or anything like that, but it is somehow taking away somebody's time, which means that you are taking away their capacity to do their dharma. The concept of this dharmasteya also comes in many other subtle ways. Many other subtle ways. For example, it's also very common in certain countries where there is the inequality between the different gender. The husband tells the wife, sorry, you cannot go to work after marriage. Now this means you are stealing the career of that woman. That means you are stealing the dharma of that woman from fulfilling her potential. People nicely hide behind the excuse, oh, they have to take care of children, sir. That is not correct, because it is not only the mother's role to take care of the child, it is both the parents' role. And the child will grow up in about 15 years or so, which means what happens to the mother after the child is grown up. So in some way you are stealing the dharma of another person. That is also considered Asteyam. And people who practice that must reflect about it, because it is one form of theft. The same way we are doing with children. Sometimes we give children adult responsibilities and thereby not allowing to be their children. The child's dharma is to be a child. The child dharma is not to be an adult. The child can become an adult later in life. But the child cannot function as an adult when it is 8 years old or 9 years old. And just because a circumstance is happening in life, you cannot provide the child with that kind of responsibility at that age and say, you have to do this. There are many times we see that some children are asked to take care of the other children, and the mother or father want to go to the cinema or do some shopping or not so serious things. If somebody has to be admitted in the hospital one time, at that time if they say, please take care of your younger brother or sister, that's different. But as a responsibility, if you are giving a child a dharma that it cannot carry at that point of time, you are stealing away the dharma of that child. The same with concepts like education. If you refuse to provide education to somebody, you are taking away the dharma of that person to fulfill their potential, whatever be that. There are many people in different parts of the world where education access is not granted to different people. Some children are not sent to schools, whether it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. Now these are social problems as well as family problems. And sometimes that is where the culture and the society of the country, the governments of the country must reflect about it. Because if all children are not educated, in some way we are interfering with their dharma and taking away their dharma of being somebody. That's why government should make education a right for everybody, because otherwise it's not giving a platform to everybody to function in their dharma. I don't even use the word equally, because there is nobody who is equal. But that they have to function in their dharma is a responsibility, is a civil right for everybody. And this has to be reflected upon. Otherwise, societies are creating this Asteya. That's why we are not shining as a society. The word is so beautiful that Patanjali is using. Sarva Ratna Upasthani. All jewels will come to you. What is the common quality of all the jewels? All the jewels are shining. So why do you think our societies are not shining? Because we are very dull. Because we are not giving these kind of rights and dharma to the people. This is very, very, very important thing that we also have to function. Now, sometimes please understand, these kind of theft are done by others. Sometimes these kind of theft are done by ourselves. Sometimes this kind of theft is done by ourselves. If education is given to us and we don't take it, we don't value it, then we are stealing ourselves from our dharma. This is very, very important. Another very important aspect of this Dharmasteya is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, and this is very important for us, and at least I reflect as a teacher. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, if you receive something and you are not sharing it, like for example, I have received a lot of teachings, and if I don't share it through teaching that to other people, I am doing Asteya. If I don't teach, then that is theft. You are stealing away the capacity of other people having the chance to receive this education. Now it doesn't mean you have to give this education to everybody who is not even interested. You have to teach people who are interested, people who are sincere, people who are dedicated. If you don't share it with the people who are sincere, share it with people who are dedicated, then that becomes a Dharmasteya. Dharmasteya. So this is what is called Dharmasteya of education. There are many things like that where we are removing the potential, and these are very controversial topics as well. These are very, very controversial topics as well. For example, in modern societies, many people go through certain procedures not to have, let's say, children. They do certain surgeries to stop the capacity. Now that is interfering with the dharma of that person. Now please understand, sometimes if it is a choice of that person who is doing that, that's one thing. But very often, that choice is not their own. Many times the men are asking the woman to go through these surgeries, which actually is more complicated for the woman than for the man. The man to have his surgery to become impotent is much more easy and much more irreversible than the woman going through the surgery of becoming infertile so that there is no more children. It's not the decision of the woman. The man is imposing that, or the family is imposing that. That is Asteya of dharma as well, because you are interfering with the dharma of that woman. Because remember, dharma means nature as well. Now that creates so many disturbances in the body of the woman, hormonally and emotionally and other things, that it's not something that she deserved to have. It's not something that she deserved to have. So if somebody is imposing that, That is also steya in one way, dharma steya. You are interfering with the dharma of that woman. Who knows, maybe the woman wants to have another child later, we don't know. So you are interfering. So all these are very delicate topics, very subtle topics where we are not even realizing that there is a steya. So this is the second kind of steya, that is called dharma steya. Then comes what is called karma steya. Karma steya, double meaning is there. The first simple meaning, karma means an action. This one thing that I appreciate about, the example I'm going to give is one thing that I appreciate about my parents, and it's also something that I'm very proud of myself. When I was in school, my parents never did homework for me. I had to do it myself. There are so many parents now who are doing homework for their children. That is a karma steya. The action of the child you are taking away. I don't do it for my daughter, and I don't think she wants to do it. She wants me to do it as well because she is far more brighter than me, these kind of topics. So if I did the homework, she would actually fail. So, it's true. So, sometimes we are interfering with the action of somebody, and this is also very subtle. For example, one person is trying to express their feelings. So it is their karma, they want to express their action of emotions or feelings. This time, sometimes we have this in many of our trainings where we are doing some practices and some people are moved and they want to express their feelings. Maybe they want to share something that they are going through or things like that. Now, somebody else interrupts what they are talking and takes over the conversation. Oh, you know what, I also had this and I did blah blah, this and that, blah 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 blah, this and that. That is also what is called karma steya. Now they may not interrupt, but they are distracted. They mumble to themselves, mumble to each other. Sometimes I find that some people from certain countries are extraordinary mumblers, and when they are given a chance to speak, somehow they are choked. But when somebody else is speaking, they are fantastic experts of mumbling and interrupting. That is also theft. Subtle theft of what is called a karma of a person. This is also something that we have to remember. We have to not take away the action of a person by interruption. Another example of this also is when people are actually expressing in these kind of profound moments, they are sharing some feelings, sharing some thoughts. Other people are not listening, they just talk to each other, or they are on their WhatsApp or on their Facebook updating profiles. Now this means you are not giving a safe space for the person to express, because those kind of actions makes it unsafe for the person to express their feelings, their processes that they are going through. And that makes it a theft as well, because you are taking away an action of a person. You are taking away an action of a person. The same thing, people may be doing some action, they are cooking, or they are gardening, or they are cleaning, but somebody else interferes and changes the whole thing without asking permission, without asking whether the other person needs some help or assistance. All these are the concepts of karma steya. You are taking away the capacity for a person to act, for fulfill their actions. Now please understand, whether you agree with somebody or not, every person has their right to act and express in the appropriate context, in the appropriate forum. The appropriate context, the appropriate forum. Now whether you agree about it or not, that's not your business. But what is important is that you are not taking away the capacity of a person to express. This is very, very important. And it's also important that we don't express or act when it's not our place to act, except in emergencies. For example, if some friend or family member of mine is seeking for medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor. I cannot function like a medical doctor and say, don't go to a doctor, I'll tell you what medication to eat. I do Google research, best medicine for headache. So on Google will give me some result, buy this and eat. Now that way, I am also stealing the job of the doctor. I'm stealing the job of the doctor because it is not my profession and it is not my place to advise. These are things that are happening so subtly, we don't even realize. Everyone becomes an expert. Today, with the internet, everybody becomes an expert. You can put your opinions and views on internet freely, and that's why this becomes a toxic medium. It's a very toxic medium. You ask the same persons to pay for what their words are, they'll stop talking. They'll stop sharing in this kind of forums because they know it's not valuable. Because it's free, they just have verbal diarrhea and become advisors of everything. You go to internet, you will see everybody having a blog about health, about this. You can find none of them are experts, and that's the sad thing. And unfortunately, with all these Google and all these things, searching for credible information is not easy, because what is popular is listed first, not what is credible. So credible things get buried in the hysteria of popularity. So that is also another form of Asteya, when we take over the job or the action of another. It's very, very common in India. I don't know about other countries. When somebody is trying to express in the family or in their circle, hey, chumma irukku, you just shut the mouth of the person, shut up, just keep quiet. You don't even allow that, which means you are taking away the right of that person. Now the reverse is also true. When you have something profound to share and you don't share, that's also theft. It's what Bhagavad Gita is also saying. When you have something profound to share, you have to share in the right manner, in the right forum, not mumble when it's not your turn. So it's a balance. It's a very important balance. If we are mumbling and then when it's our turn to speak, we are choking, it's a fake. It's a asatya. We are not following the truth. Asteya is consistent with satyam in one way. This is very, very important. So this is what is called as karma asteya in one way. Another way is the karma of the law of karma. It's the destiny of some people to do certain things, to fulfill certain things. If we interfere in that destiny and take away that right, that is also karma asteya. That's also a karma asteya. A very controversial topic this is, very controversial. But I don't take any view of what is right or what is wrong, but just to share the controversial views in the spirit of the philosophy, we have to discuss this. For example, let us say a child is conceived in the mother's womb, and that child is not per the wishes of the parents. This is a very delicate topic because it could just be something that is a gender thing. Mother and father want a boy but they want a girl, or mother and father want a girl but they want a boy. It could be a gender thing. Or it could be a health thing. The child is born with blindness already. Now with MRI scan, ECG scan or whatever, not an ECG but with different scans you can see that the child is actually having some problems. It's going to be blind, or it's going to be crooked, it's going to have some defect in the body, or worse, it could have some mental problem like retardation. It could be a special child. Now we can do all these scans. Now, if we are going to say, oh, this child is difficult, I don't want to deal with it, I will kill that child through abortion. In such a case, that is also Asteya of karma, because the karma, the law of karma is that this child is being born like that for some reason. Either it's the karma of the child itself or the parents to take care of such a child. To take care of such a child, because we don't know how this law of karma works. We don't know how the law of karma works, because that is not decided by us. Sometimes I look at my own family, there are extraordinary characters in my family history, like my grandfather, my father, and some of our ancestors, who are absolutely brilliant. It's even an understatement to use the word genius, because they are even more significant than that. But at the same time, when you look at the family, there are also some special children who have mentally retarded problems. There is in my own family, my brother, my cousin, another distant cousin. And sometimes we ask the question, how can something like this happen in this kind of family? It's the law of karma. Somehow there has to be an average. Somehow there has to be a reminder that don't get too lost in this greatness. Also keep in touch with reality. So why the divine decides these kind of things, we cannot answer. So we cannot interfere and say, oh no, I don't want this child to deal with, okay, I will kill the child. That means you are stealing the karma not only of the child but of the family. That is also called karmasteya. At a very high level, this is the interference with karma and taking away one's karma. This is very, very complicated. Very, very complicated. Another kind of karma in this topic of karmasteya is when you murder somebody. Now, it's not your duty to take life of somebody. It is the duty of some other person to take life of somebody. So, when you murder somebody, that is not appropriate. It is a karmasteya. Now, whether you are murdering them with intent or without intent. Like, for example, with intent means, let's say, for example, your neighbor steals your wife and you kill him. Then, that is with intent of revenge. But then there are some things which are random without intent. There may be an indirect intent, like you have all these mass shootings in America, where there is no reason for these people to kill the people they are killing. They are innocent, but there is some kind of other intent, indirect intent, because they are frustrated or angry or frustrated with the system or something else. So they just go kill somebody. That is also karmasteya, because you are not allowing the karma of these people to fulfill its journey. You are interfering. So this is also called karmasteya. The last steya is called vidyasteyam or jnanasteyam, stealing of knowledge. In modern time we call this intellectual property theft. We call this intellectual property theft. So, something is belonging, a knowledge is belonging to somebody. We steal it and present it as if it's our own. We take Patanjali's Yogasutra and Patanjali is not there to claim copyright. I will retitle it something else and do it. That means I am committing a jnanasteya. I take what knowledge belongs to the other and present it as if it is my own. That is jnanasteya. This is very, very common nowadays. Very, very common nowadays. Sometimes if you are teaching wrong knowledge to somebody consciously, That is also called Asteya. For example, nowadays we see the competition for school children to get high marks in schools are very intense. Parents are pressuring their children to get the top marks and this and that. And invariably in all schools, there will be the chance that sometimes some children will fall sick and they will have to borrow the notes of their classmates. I know many parents nowadays are telling their children, when you share notes, don't share notes or change something and share so that the other child will fail. This is also Asteyam. This is happening in many places as well, where we are trying to teach false knowledge intentionally. If it's not intentional, that is one thing. If it is intentional, that is called Asteyam. And this also happens nowadays. Please understand, unintentional sharing of mistakes is not considered Asteya, because maybe when you are writing some notes, you are hearing, and because of some disturbance in concentration or the accent of the teacher, sometimes you hear wrong words and you are writing something and that's a mistake and then you share, that's different. That's not your intention to communicate wrong information to somebody. So this is also what is called Asteya. All these are considered not right. The opposite of this is Asteya. When you are not practicing all of this, not for a short time, but for a long term. That's why Patanjali uses the word Asteya Pratishtayam. You are very deeply established in such kind of practices of Asteya where you are not doing these kind of things. Then as a consequence, Sarva Ratna Upasthanam. Ratna is a very fascinating word. Ratna means jewel or crystals. Jewels or crystals. Sarva Ratna means all the jewels. Upasthanam, they will come near you. They will come near you. The word Ratna is a very fascinating word. In fact, the earth, Prithvi, the goddess earth, she is called Ratnavati. Because where is all the crystals coming from? They are coming from the earth. So she is filled with crystals and jewels. Where are you going for diamonds? Earth. Where are you going for gold? Earth. Where is silver coming from? Earth. Where is your quartz coming from? Earth. Where is your amethyst coming from? Earth. All the jewels of the world are coming from the earth. So that's why the goddess earth is called Ratnavati, the one who is full of Ratnas, jewels. So all the jewels will come to you. You don't have to seek anything. If you are not stealing what belongs to others, people will share with you very freely. And Ācārya, Krishnamacharya even says that the reason why we are stealing is because of prarabdha karma, the karma from the past, the karma from our ancestors, because through this kind of karma we are inheriting also samskaras from our past, our ancestors. So if they were stealing, that samskara will also come to you. So in some way, that's why Patanjali says, you have to replace one set of samskara with another. So the samskara that you have to replace is not only from your life. What you are inheriting is coming not only from your life but also from your ancestors. And if you don't replace it, two things will happen. Not only are you going to not reach Kaivalyam, not be in the direction of Kaivalyam, but you are also going to continue to pass this samskara to the next generation. So it is in your interest to change this pattern. It is in your interest to change this pattern no matter what this is. So why you are stealing is not because you are a thief. There is some kind of theft in the history of your ancestors or your past lives, if you are a believer of past life, that is making you behave like this. So Patanjali is saying it's a test for you to see if you are continuing in the same power of the pravritti that you are inheriting from your ancestors, or you are going to change it and make it nivritti. That means you are going to make that stop. Only when you stop, sarva ratna upasthanam, all the precious things will come to you. All the precious things will come to you. Ratnani atmanam darshayanti. Ācārya, Shankaracharya uses this phrase. Ratnani atmanam darshayati. The ratnas, the jewels, they reveal themselves to you. Now this is very important because normally where are the jewels? They are usually hidden. Jewels are not always on display. Jewels are hidden. And that's why this is very, very significant, because in the traditional terms, they use metaphoric language for jewels. Now, jewel is also the representative meaning of the concept of light, that which is shining. Now, that which is shining, or those that are shining, are not jewels that you are wearing like gold or diamonds or things like that, but they are your potentials, your talents, your potentials, and most importantly, your consciousness, what is called Purusha, who is the brightest jewel that we carry. And depending on interpretation, Purusha is either independent or Purusha is along with Paramatma. And these are the most precious jewels. They themselves will reveal to you. Because the concept of theft is coming when it starts to come. When you steal something, what do you have to do? You have to hide what you stole. You cannot display or what you stole to everybody, because if you display, you will get caught. So the moment you are stealing, you have to start hiding what you are, what objects and things you are stealing. You spend all your energy in that, which means you are not spending your energy in the direction of your personal evolution. So you are getting trapped one way or the other, and also if it's karmic theft we are doing, the karma sticks makes us very stagnant and heavy, tamasic. So light is not going to reveal. That's why the word Ratna means light also, that which is shining. So that light that is hidden, the Ratna, that will reveal itself. It will come to you. So in some way, you don't have to run behind Kaivalyam or Purusha Jnanam. Purusha Jnanam will approach you. So it's almost like you are walking in the spiritual path. You continue to walk. It's not that you are going towards a destination that is fixed. If you are on the right path, the destination also starts walking towards you, and you will meet somewhere earlier than probably what you expect. Because that destination will start coming closer to you. That destination will start coming closer to you. So it's a very, very fascinating terminology here that Patanjali is using, Sarva Ratna Upasthanam. In the old days of Patanjali, the real jewels were not necessarily only the gold and diamonds, they were more good character, knowledge not information but wisdom, good family, those kind of things, good friends, those kind of things, they will come near you. Not the things that are toxic. So, this is the essence of the sutra. Asteya pratisthayam sarvaratnopasthanam. Namaste, my dear friends.